Welcome to latest News Blast. At 61 years old, Keanu Reeves is one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood. Beloved across generations, admired for his humility, kindness, and quiet strength, he is often described as the nicest man in Hollywood. Yet behind the calm smile, the soft-spoken interviews, and the legendary on-screen presence lies a life marked by unimaginable loss, heartbreak, and loneliness. While millions admire him for his success, very few truly understand the emotional weight he has carried for decades. Keanu Reeves' life story is not one of privilege or ease. It is a journey shaped by grief, resilience, and a painful endurance that would have broken most people. This is the story of what Keanu Reeves has lost and how he somehow continues to move forward. A childhood without stability. Keanu Charles Reeves was born on September 2, 1964, in Beirut, Lebanon, to a British mother and an American father. His early years were anything but stable. His father, Samuel Reeves, struggled with addiction and was largely absent from Keanu's life. When Keanu was just 3 years old, his father abandoned the family altogether. That disappearance left a lasting emotional scar, one that Keanu has rarely spoken about publicly. His mother, Patricia, moved frequently in search of work, taking Keanu and his siblings from country to country: Lebanon, Australia, New York, and eventually Canada. Constant relocation meant no real sense of home, no long-term friendships, and no stable childhood foundation. School was difficult. Keanu struggled academically, partly due to dyslexia, and he was often bullied. He never completed high school, eventually dropping out to pursue acting. At a young age, he learned what it meant to survive on uncertainty. Even before fame, loss had already become a familiar companion, rising to fame but never escaping pain. Keanu's career took off in the late 1980s with films like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, but it was Speed, 1994, and The Matrix, 1999, that made him a global superstar. Suddenly, he had everything: money, fame, influence, but behind the scenes, tragedy followed him closely. In 1993, his best friend and fellow actor River Phoenix died suddenly of a drug overdose outside a nightclub in Los Angeles. Reeves was devastated. The two had been close, and River's death marked the first major emotional collapse in Keanu's adult life. Friends later said that something inside Keanu changed after that night. He became quieter, more reserved, more guarded. Then, just a few years later, his life would be shattered again in a way no parent should ever experience: the loss that broke him. In 1999, Keanu Reeves and his girlfriend, actress Jennifer Syme, were expecting their first child. They were excited, hopeful, and ready to begin a family together. But tragedy struck without warning. Their baby girl, Ava Archer Syme Reeves, was stillborn at 8 months. The loss devastated both of them. The pain was unbearable. Their relationship, already strained by grief, eventually collapsed under the weight of that tragedy. Though they tried to remain close, the emotional wounds were too deep. Keanu rarely speaks about this period, but those close to him say it changed him forever. He withdrew emotionally, became deeply introspective, and carried the loss quietly. And then, just when it seemed life couldn't possibly hurt more, another unthinkable tragedy. In April 2001, less than 2 years after losing their child, Jennifer Syme was killed in a car accident in Los Angeles. She was only 28 years old. Keanu was reportedly devastated. The woman he once loved, the mother of his child, gone in an instant. This second blow pushed him even further into emotional isolation. Friends say he never truly recovered. The grief was layered, complex, and deeply personal. From that point on, Keanu Reeves became known not just for his talent, but for his silence. He rarely spoke about his pain. He never exploited it for attention. He carried it alone, a life marked by quiet suffering. While Hollywood thrives on glamour and ego, Keanu Reeves took a different path. He avoided lavish lifestyles. He rode the subway. He lived modestly. He donated millions anonymously. It later became public that Reeves quietly gave away large portions of his Matrix earnings to crew members, special effects artists, and charities, particularly cancer research, inspired by his sister Kim's long battle with leukemia. For nearly a decade, Keanu helped care for his sister during her illness, often putting his career on pause to support her. Her survival is one of the few bright lights in his story, but the emotional toll was heavy. Those close to him say Keanu doesn't fear death, he fears loss. And perhaps that's why he loves so deeply, yet keeps his heart so guarded. Grief changes shape, but it never ends. In one rare interview, Keanu said something that stunned fans. Grief changes shape, but it never ends. Those 6 words revealed more about his life than any headline ever could. Despite his fame, he has often been photographed alone, sitting on park benches, eating quietly, lost in thought. The internet once dubbed him Sad Keanu, but the truth is far more complex. He isn't sad for attention. He isn't lonely because he lacks options. He is reflective, wounded, and deeply human. And yet, despite everything he has lost, he remains gentle, humble, and kind, finding love again, carefully. For years, fans believed Keanu would never love again. Then, in 2019, he appeared publicly with artist Alexandra Grant. The moment sent shockwaves through the internet, not because of scandal, but because of how real and normal they looked together. Their relationship wasn't flashy. There were no dramatic headlines, no staged paparazzi moments, just 2 people walking side by side. For the first time in decades, fans saw something different in Keanu's eyes. Peace. He once said, "Someone once told me that grief is the price we pay for love." And I think that's beautiful. It was perhaps the most honest reflection of his life. Why his story resonates so deeply. Keanu Reeves' story resonates because it isn't a fairy tale. There was no easy rise, no perfect ending, no escape from pain. Instead, there is endurance. He shows that even after losing a child, after losing the love of your life, after watching friends die, after years of loneliness, you can still choose kindness. You can still show up. You can still live with compassion. That is why people love him. Not because he's famous, not because he's rich, but because he's real. At 61, what has Keanu Reeves really lost? He has lost his childhood stability, his best friend, his unborn daughter, the woman he loved, a sense of normalcy. But what he has kept is even more powerful. Humility, empathy, strength, humanity. At 61, Keanu Reeves stands as a rare figure in Hollywood, a man shaped by tragedy but never hardened by it. Even with all he has endured, Keanu Reeves continues to inspire millions worldwide. He approaches life with quiet dignity, showing that tragedy does not have to define a person. Friends and coworkers describe him as generous, thoughtful, and endlessly patient, always willing to help others, even when his own heart carries immense pain. His humility sets him apart in an industry often defined by ego and excess. At 61, Keanu's life is a testament to resilience, a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable loss, kindness, empathy, and inner strength can endure. Despite losing his father, best friend, unborn child, and longtime love, Keanu Reeves remains one of Hollywood's most humble and compassionate figures. At 61, his life is a testament to resilience, kindness, and quiet strength, showing the world that even immense tragedy cannot steal humanity or hope.